Yes, sir, baby. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. Happy Friday. Hope you guys got yourself a nice little beverage. This show is, of course, brought to you by BetUS. Got a few things we're going to be talking about on the Florida Gator side in regards to some potential hires happening. We yelling at Billy. Seems to be making some moves. Seems to be looking to the NFL. Seems to be maybe dipping back into that little family heirloom a little bit. May not quite be the old ball coach himself, but damn near close enough. We'll talk all about it. Then I know we don't talk NFL a lot, but here in Jags, a lot of us Gators are Duval fans. In the NFL, it's like the real world right now. Just the madness that's going on. Sean Cobb just he just whipped it out and said, "Here we go, I'm coming for you." And I got to talk about it. We got some Buck fans in the Discord. It's nice little. Gator fans, we find ways to hate each other, whatever reason it is. But we have a little bit of Buck Jaguar drama, which is fun. I absolutely love it. So we'll talk all about it, and we'll have a great show as we normally do. Good to see you again. Smash the like button, subscribe. Got a new little layout here, trying some new things, new year, new us. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's have a good show. What's up? Say hello to the chat really quick. Squishy the Turtle says, let's get it. Lagway will bring us a championship for a Heisman or both. K. Ziegler. Crazy day in the NFL for sure. It's been mayhem, dude. It's been absolutely nuts watching it unfold. I mean, usually the player movement, the free agency is what's sexy. But I got to tell you, I think this is the first time for as long as I can recall, the amount of movement that's happening in the NFL coaching-wise and excitement that's going to be stemming going into next year. And somebody even brought up a good point, says, what do we think Liam Cohen's going to do as an offensive coordinator for the Jags? You know, when they got the goggles on and you're looking at it, everyone just thinks that Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Allen, all these guys are going to be the next hot thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it appears. Robert Saleh was the next hot thing. 2 years we'll really know what the true case and matter is. But these boys are doing some work. Ben Johnson out there is the poor Lions. We'll talk all about it. Pete Carroll to the Raiders, love it. Look, it's sexy right now. It's fun. So we're going to talk about it. 130 strong, boys and girls. Good to see you. Muddy as a Jag fan. Mama, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Ben Hodge, you should do a joint show with the Rock Boys Media. They do a great job covering us. Those boys do crush it, to say the least. Seen some of their work. They're humming right along. They would love to. Always love to do a nice little collab. So let's get after it, boys. First order of business. The boys are making some moves. Billy's got some hires. I think he's set to hire today. Vinny Sorcy, I believe is how it's pronounced. I'm probably butchering this, young man. Vinny Sinceri. Yeah, whatever. Anywho, bring it in. Now, people maybe start panicking if you haven't been following this situation closely. It's like, is he going to be the DC? Is that what's happening? Like, what's going on? No, he's not interviewing, from my understanding, to be the next defensive coordinator. He is interviewing, it seems like, to be to work with that safeties and secondary alongside Will Harris. What people kind of forget, and again, I think there may be some other movements with linebackers as well, because keep in mind, Armstrong and Ron Roberts kind of also took on those roles, because Bateman was a linebacker coach. He obviously left. We never replaced it. Technically Ron Roberts did, right? He came in as that co-executive Pillsbury Doughboy manager, co-defensive side guy, whatever. It had 19 different titles. One of his titles being the linebacker coach. So he had that. And then Armstrong, when he originally came on, I think, or at some point, I don't recall, it's moved so much, but he was part of that secondary, right? He helped coach, whether it was the safeties or the cornerbacks. Then, of course, we brought in Will Harris. Did he oversee all of it? I think there was probably some confusion there. Anywho, Vinny is set to interview to be alongside of that. Reasons I love this hire, reasons I'm a little, I can't say reserved, but it's a thought that we'll get into that a lot of people bring up with coaches and what they normally do. But he played at Alabama, played in the NFL, worked alongside Belichick, Bill and Steve Belichick, DC, who's now at UNC. That UNC team's going to be really fun to watch. I saw his contract, him being Bill Belichick for UNC, that it's like a $10 million buyout until June of 2025, which is in 6 months, and then it drops down to $1 million. I think he's leaving himself an opportunity out, if I had to guess. Could be wrong, but it just feels that way. But Steve Belichick going to UNC, I love that. I love, bro, that mullet. I love that guy. The guy brings a ton of energy to the sideline. I'm excited to see what the Belichick boys are going to be able to do out there in North Carolina. I digress. So this young man coming in, Coach Vinny, was at Washington last year. Obviously, we know Will Harris came from that era as well. Well, Chargers in Washington, coached the safeties there last season, and again, of course, worked in that NFL atmosphere. So we talk with Zach, and we talk with a lot of these guys, Zach Goodall, not there, Zach Alberverdi and Cam. Again, the focus seems to be NFL kind of centric guys. Another NFL guy, another Patriots guy, mind you. And I love this hire. Again, organizations like the New England Patriots, especially under that Bill Belichick era, understand a winning culture, understand what it takes. They were at least there to witness it, right? They were a part of that building process. And I think that's very important, especially if you're trying to emulate that into your culture. And it clearly seems to have a type, him being Billy Napier. So we'll see how it all plays out. Again, he's interviewing today. And he was recently hired by Jacksonville State to be the defensive coordinator as well at 33. So kind of working his way up, making some moves, turning some heads. Could be kind of that new up and coming. Again, I'm not too familiar with Vinny. I got to be perfectly honest with you. But people are probably thinking, is he going to be the new defensive coordinator? Because, of course, the question is Ron Roberts saying all these things are still left unnoticed, untouched. We don't know what's going to happen. But we'll love this hire. I don't think it's going to knock any socks off. But this is something, again, talked to my buddy last night. We were going back to this offensive coordinator thing. I think the defense, although it had turnaround last year, is a bigger mess than I think we can see from the outside, which is a compliment, I would say, to the team and to the coaching staff. I mean, we saw the mess, I think, earlier on, but I think there's a lot of missing pieces over there. There's a lot of guys wearing a lot of different hats. And so if you can eliminate some of those hats, maybe that's how Billy is viewing the situation. He's like, look, I know, but my play calling hasn't been great, but I'm still trying to fix this side of the ball, right? And I'm not quite ready to give up the range yet, knowing that this side isn't just perfect. So we'll see. We'll see. Chip Kelly is interviewing for what? The Jaguar job? I did see that, if that's what we're talking about. Not for here. Not for here. So this is the next big splashy, sexy appeal hire for the Gators at the very moment. Again, we've got 5 days, 6 days, 31st, where some contracts are going to expire. The major one being Rob Sale. So keep an eye on that one. And you're probably thinking, well, we don't have anybody that was to replace on that defensive side. But again, we did because we didn't have anybody. Godspeed, my boy. What's up, baby? Good to see you, man. Smash the like button and subscribe. Next, this one's an interesting one. So the next one we got here is old Steve Spurrier Jr., Buddy Martin. Gotta get a shout out to the man. I saw this man's tweet, and then I've seen more of this on 3, and Zach and those guys and Keith talked about it on their show. Those boys always do great work over there, covering the Gators, talking all things about it. But Buddy broke it first, I think. I don't know. I said to Dave, I go, what the hell? It just seen from the clouds. Buddy Martin coming in here says, expect to hear today or this weekend that there's going to be a Spurrier on Billy Napier's coaching staff this fall. So he's calling a shot. Buddy's saying it's a done deal. But it ain't even like a if, it's a done deal. It says Steve Spurrier Jr. Bubba joining as an analyst, but not yet confirmed by UF, makes many of us happy, but nobody more than Jerry. So the kind of the Bull Gator's been around for quite some time to get a little bit of that Spurrier vibe back into it. And again, Spurrier Jr. here was at Tulsa currently, or last year anyways, as a co-offensive coordinator. Again, he had like 3 titles as well. So like this a lot. And remember last year, the rule that changed, you can have analysts on the sideline now. So you got to wonder how much of is this a play to come help facilitate the offense a little bit. Maybe he may not get that OC title, but definitely something to kind of keep in mind, to keep an eye on as somebody that could have a factor into that. Again, OC at Tulsa, obviously coached with his dad at, I think he coached with his dad at South Carolina. Could there be more here? Just him coming as an offensive analyst. Interesting. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. You wonder, is it dad calling in a favor? I know there's been a lot of talks. I know there were talks last year of like, hey, go get Spurrier Jr. when we were in this OC conversation before. So bring someone like this on that has that experience, that's been around the game for quite some time, obviously possesses that Spurrier mentality a little bit, to be able to come in and have an impact, to have a say on the offense. I like it. I even said, I was talking with again my buddy last night about this offensive coordinator thing, because it's going to be a point of conversation throughout the season. But I brought up of like, look, I don't have an answer of why he didn't, but I try to we play the devil's advocate. One person always chooses a side. We try to argue it to kind of understand, why this is the way that it is. And I go, there could, we don't know how much Billy actually called during the games. Like maybe Callaway called more than we think. We genuinely don't know. Like there was times where the game would flow and you're like, yeah, the things are cooking. And I would tweet out when things would just flop. And it's like, all right, Billy called back for the play. Like there was definitely, it just felt like things were different from times during the game. And so that's why, I wonder. And I think that's kind of on Billy not wanting to put it out there, maybe to protect these guys so they don't take flack. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you. But I wonder with him if he were to bring in the Spurrier Jr., if he would have a say or a play or be up in the booth, kind of like Callaway was this past year, right? Maybe he does become just eyes in the skies. Again, not much there on it right now, but we will see again how it all shapes up. It is very interesting. Two moves here for the day. Both moves, if were to happen, would be very, I would think, positive moves in the right direction. Not the splash hires that you guys are thinking about, right? Or maybe looking for. But Will Harris was kind of and Chapman were fit the vibe of Vinny in a way. Kind of have a lot of places they jumped around. Pretty solid resume. Again, I don't think he's coming in. I think he can only provide value given the fact that we were kind of playing shorthanded on that secondary coaching staff, anyways, given the knowledge that we do know. And bringing in again someone like a Spurrier on the offensive side of things that we've have had our feelings about. All good things. All good things. Again, this kind of goes back to that patient thing. I think people are still aren't going to be as ecstatic because they want the big splash, but this is how Billy functions. I think we have to learn that and take that as it will. Muddy says Dave Waters and others said the Chiefs defensive line coach is someone to watch for new DC Joe Cullen. Interesting stuff. That was not a name that I've heard, but love that. Love that there is options out there. Look, again, people we talk about that all the time with this defensive coordinator information. Love the fact again, Kansas City Chiefs. I would say their sweet spot is the defense and the D line. I mean that is what's got them to this point, in my opinion, this year, and honestly, won of a Super Bowl last year. Their defense really just ramped up the last couple of years. They've become I was comparing them to the New England Patriots of old. Mahomes wasn't really the Mahomes we've seen in the past. Kind of beat up a little bit, just dinking and dallying around. Still has the ability to move, get around, but just not too many big weapons. He's got a big tight end, Travis Kelce, Gronk, that he can go to in a clutch moment. And the defense, they're one of four teams that haven't scored more than 30 points, I think, all season long up until like the last few games. And there's other three teams are like Raiders, Jags, like teams that won like 4 games. And obviously Chiefs won damn near AFC Championship, not scoring more than 30 a game. That defense has been elite. Okay. And the reason I bring that up is obviously Florida average is 28.5. So if Chiefs can do it, maybe we just go get ourselves a defense like the Chiefs and we'll be good to go. So we'll see. Joe Cullen was Urban's DC at Jacksonville. Well, that was a complete cluster. So we'll blame that one on Herb in that regard. So look, if that is a possibility, I love it. And they possesses an NFL stature. I love seeing these colleges really trying to. Again, this isn't unheard of or not known, but it really seems like they're tapping into it more and more. And you are seeing this transition of college football turning into a version of the NFL. I feel like all the right things are happening to have this thing function outside of the contracts that need to be adjusted, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit in regards to this Ohio State stuff and obviously portal madness. So Chiefs offense consists of Mahomes taking off and sliding late to draw 15-yard penalty. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Call Me Old Fashioned says layout looks good, my man. Appreciate you, Bo. Call Me Old Fashioned is live in 45, boys. But he's pouring it up, making a nasty drink. Apparently the hottest cocktail on the market. Is what the kids are saying. The streets are saying anyways. So, good stuff. Florida boys moving all in the right direction, I think, so far. And I like the fact that although we've been a little slow, it's starting to come full circle, right? Portal movements seem to be done, which people are going to have their thoughts and opinions on it. I get it, but coaching staff, I think that's going to be the move. We kind of alluded to it a little bit when we were talking about the top 25, and you start to look around, and maintaining talent's not going to be easy. And it kind of goes back to the old fashioned way where you got to recruit really well, got to hit the portal out precisely, and you got to develop and coach just at a fast and precise level. I think you can almost get away with a little lackadaisical coaching at times in the last couple of years because you can just stockpile the talent, and the talent could overweigh the coaching at times, and it's kind of having a little bit of a reverse, which is cool. I mean, it's just a different avenue, different game of chess that's being played. So notice that and see that that's happening. That the NIL and the movement and how guys are popping around, and there isn't that depth that there once was, allows for you to really crack in and win one. I don't feel like there's any true dominant team going into next year. Joe Clapp rolled out his way too early top 10, and it's interesting because when Dave and I were talking about it on Wednesday, Penn State was like 10 according to ESPN. I go, I think Penn State and Michigan was like 25. I was like, Michigan and Penn State are teams that I believe should be higher than what they are. He has Penn State number one. And if you look at it, Penn State is bringing back a lot of their guys. Now, you could argue James Franklin and all these things, but talent on the football field, what's being brought back, they should be highly favored. Outside of people's thoughts and opinions on James Franklin and the schedule they have to go to, should be up there. In Michigan, if they just had a quarterback that could, breathe last year, they might win three more games. And now they go and get Bryce Underwood. There's a lot of expectations for him. LSU, he has LSU in the top 9. I think LSU is going to be someone to watch. Bringing back a lot of talent. Bringing back Garrett Nussmeier. That's a big one. And then, of course, they're very aggressive in the portal. So, Q Lee, what's going on, baby? Good to see you, man. Muddy says, I'm still waiting for Ryan Day and OSU to give out $20 million for a new set of star players and elite staff. Look, there's noise on Chip Kelly on interviewing for the Jags for OC right now. So that would be a detriment to Ohio State. There isn't much out there, right? They've got to retain what they've got, but what's left for them to go pluck through? Kind of said that, by winning the championship, they weren't really focused on, or couldn't be focused on the portal, and all the kind of guys have come and went. Where are you going to go? 4 of the O-linemen for Notre Dame have entered too, which is some starters. I'm talking some big time guys. Let's transition into that little scene now with Ryan Day around the league, little portal drama. So this was what interests me the most on this tweet here is the noise on with the money. Now again, this is Pete Nakos. Everyone's going to ask, where is this money coming from? The noise of the money. We'll never know. But what was tweeted out here is Jeremiah Smith has a $4.5 million offer. Now, I remember when we talked, Florida was talking about it in our Discord and whatnot about, hey, if we could go get Smith in the portal, what would his cost be? And I think we were talking like, it's got to be at least 1 or 2. And then I think he had a good game against Texas, or who was their second game? Oregon. And then it's like, hey, it's like 2.5. It's like 2.5. And then, of course, he does what he does in the national championship, and now it's 4.5 plus. And what's crazy about that is Beck, essentially signed a $4.5 million deal with the Miami, quote unquote, which was the biggest college deal there is. $4.5 million. Carnell Tate, you see, is offered 1.5 or 1. And just before the show started, Tate announced that he would be returning as a Buck, given though those speculations were out there that he could be leaving for some pretty cheddar. So if this is true, if these numbers are true, that's $6 million in 2 people. And your boy Caleb Downs getting paid. He's in that $2 to $3 million era. So we're at $9 million for 3 players. 3 players. Julian Saint's supposed to be the next big thing. He's getting 1.5 at least. So now we're over 10 now. We're at 10 million in 4 players. 4 players. If these numbers are even realistically true. And let's say they're not. Let's say they're off a couple million, north or south. So we're talking 7 or 13, but either way, 7 million tied up in 4 players. Unreal. And yeah, that $4.5 million offer, great point, Eric Buholtz. Who is that coming from? Texas or Oregon. We've talked about this on the show. There ain't that many big fish out there that are going to just be throwing their cheddar like that. Like who's got that ability to get it done? Texas or Oregon. And in Texas is an interesting one. He's got Texas at number 2, Joel Klatt on his way too early top down. I think Joel Klatt does a great job, by the way. And Texas, I think they're a little overrated. I think it's a little high in my opinion. I think there's a lot of hype coming for Arch, and I love that. I think he's going to be great. But they lost a lot of key pieces too. And it feels like, and I've said this before, Sark is kind of looking a little bit like Ryan Day. What Ryan Day was his first 4 years. A lot of talent around him, kind of in a perfect situation to be successful, and it just can't seem to get out of his own way. There's just something missing. And I feel like that's going to be exposed a little more next year. Possibly. Could be wrong. Who enforces the cap? Bags still will be. Oh, he deleted his message. I was trying to see what Mr. Nobody said, but it was not English because he can't type or read. So that's where we're at with that. Now, the one thing that I continue to bring up when we talk about this college football is we know about this salary thing that's happening in the middle of the summer around June. Does it clean this up? From my understanding, when we talk to Zach, no, it doesn't sound like it's going to clean up. It sounds like the price of these players is going to go up. That's what it appears to be like. But we see the meetings happening and what also happened with this is that Ryan Day was outspoken on this and kind of was saying that there's a gray area. The coaches need to come together to figure this thing out. And I tweeted out, I said, the irony, last year when you landed Quinshon Judkins and snatched Caleb Downs from Georgia from underneath their nose, you didn't say it was gray then. And again, everyone's doing it. It's just, ironic and hypocritical when you're doing it. You ain't nothing to say. And then when someone's sniffing in your back, you're like, whoa, this is just a little uneasy here. The part of this too is like, how are we getting these numbers? How is this even getting out? It's the agents, bro. It's always the agents. There's no other way around it. And that's probably how they're getting around, I would argue, the tampering laws. Is it's the agents having the conversations. The agent's not tied to the player. So the agent goes to Texas or goes to Oregon and has a conversation with said NIL, with said anybody, with said Phil Knight. I don't see how it's tampering, right, in the grand scheme of things of them reaching out, but is it by the law tampering? I mean, he could call his parents and say, hey, tell Jeremiah we'll offer him 4.5 if he wants to come play for the Ducks. Yes, it's tampering, but would it hold up in the court? And I think that's where they're at with it. And the agents, if the agents are having to be held accountable to those rules and there's no investigating on that, I don't see it getting clean. I think what has to happen, and we've been hammering home on this, is just you've got to have the you got to put some contracts in place. If I sign you, you got to be here for a year or two. Now, I think if you want, what you can do, because think about like a Jeremiah Smith, for example. If he signs a rookie contract his freshman year, that thing probably was worth $1 million, given the fact that he was the number 1 player in the country the year that he came out. It's going to be fat dollars. But what he just did in year 1, I mean, let's say he was getting 1.5. He's like, hey, I'm worth 3 times that. We knew I was going to be good, but I'm way better than you and I both thought. So you got to, you leave that maybe in your contract of like, hey, we'll negotiate with you, but you can't search the market. You got to come to us first, and we've got to work out an internal deal. And if you decide to move on, it hacks anything that we owe you, and maybe you pay it back. Maybe it breaks the contract. I don't know. These things are tough for me. I don't make these rules, but there just needs to be a little bit more organization for everyone's sake, for us, for fans, right? So we're not having to buy 3 jerseys every year in the middle of the year. Let us have a little bit of fun. Like the whole NIL thing, we were excited to finally buy jerseys and support our guys, and now we can't. We can't even do that. That's scary. Jack Pyburn, I thought that was going to be a lock. I was going to buy his jersey. Not anymore. Might as well just go buy the 115 like we have for the last 30 years. Right? Yeah, define something. There needs to be some standards, some boundaries for this so we can have some structure to it, some healthy structure. I'm all for these cats getting paid. I'm all for them asking for more and leveraging their skills and their ability to do all those things. But Get us some boundaries. Give us some boundaries. Right? If we're copying the NFL, we're doing everything else that they're doing. Just call up Goodell. Say, how do I fix this shit, dude? Help me out here. We're halfway there. Lock it in. Lock it in. If I was Gatorade, president of Gatorade, I'd be broke. I'd be throwing $5 million at everyone to buy a championship like Oklahoma State or Ohio State did. Excuse me. What's crazy? And again, we talked about it, man. Like they lose that they lose Michigan a year ago. They're not playing in a national championship. Chip Kelly's job's being called for. That money goes by the wayside. But because it was a success story, it's like, this is the blueprint. This is how you got to get it done. Miami spent a lot of money. Texas has spent a lot of money. FSU spent a lot of money. Oregon dropped cheddar. Oregon, go look at Oregon. I think because they were already doing it, so it didn't catch our attention as much. But don't think they just slept by on their. Go look at their talent. Go look at who they had, wide receiver wise, quarterback, the cornerbacks they brought in, defensive line, their O-line. I don't think they did a great job. Their coaching staff, like they didn't hold back by any stretch. Now, obviously, they made it far, but they lost to the other guy who spent just a little bit more, or maybe just got outplayed, honestly. So, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Finna get some back for the football team tomorrow against the Dogs and B-ball. Yeah, got the Dogs tomorrow in the on the hard courts. So, good stuff there all around college football right now with the portal nonsense. Again, I loved Ryan Day's comments about being upset about it. But let's talk a little NFL. Let's talk a little NFL before we wrap this bad boy up. Again, smash the like button, subscribe. Good to see everybody on this beautiful afternoon. So, if you've been following, a lot of us been following along. It's been, like I said, I call it the real world NFL because how nuts it's been over the last few days, and how the Jaguar situation unfolded was nuts. Obviously, we know as a Jags fans, we see that Dougie P gets fired, but Balky's retained. Jag fans go absolutely berserk. They got the pitchforks. They're burning Jacksonville down. Okay, they're ready to wrap this thing up, knock it out, be done with it. All my Jag fans buddies who've been Jag fans forever, they're just distraught. One of my buddies emailed them, I'm not buying season tickets. He feels like it's his credit. He wants credit for the firing of Balky because he said, you kept that idiot. I'm not buying my tickets. And then shortly after they fired him. I don't think it was his email, maybe a couple of emails possibly, but not just his particular one. And then you see the coaching carousel happen. Ben Johnson was a hot topic, right? Glenn, all these guys that are being looked at by the Jags, one by one. Pew, pew, pew. No bueno. No bueno. You got everything you need at the Jags. You got your star quarterback, got talent at the running back room, got some pieces around it. You got Brian Thomas Jr., who's an absolute just freak, really kind of flourished into something at the end of the year. There's talent there. There's something to be working with, okay? And nobody wants to come there. Then you get Liam Cohen. He's interviewing. And the big news drops. I'm withdrawing my name from this shit. There's no way I'm working for that. And that was the last call for our boy Sean Khan. He said, I gotta whip this back. I gotta whip it out. Big dog time. He says, I'm pulling the plug. You're out, Blocky. Trent, you're out. Get up out of here. I'm done with you. Like it was within like an hour or two. He's like, this is it. I can't do this anymore. The writing's on the wall. I hear you. That's my bad. I made a mistake. All while this is happening, Liam gets offered a record-breaking offensive coordinator to stay with the Bucs. Bucs are going nuts. Buck fans in the Discord talking shit. Jags are a joke. They're a trash organization. I mean, we were all saying the same thing as Jag fans. We were on the same boat. And then the rumor mill car starts kicking. Man's phone going to voicemail. The Bucs are calling, but Liam ain't answering. Nobody's home. Leaving the boys on red. Nada. Zilch. Check your plane records. He's back in Jax, baby. Duval. My boy Sean Carr said, I'm going to get who I want. I'm going to get who I want. Liam Cohen essentially becomes the next head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now there's rumors that he's going to try to get Chip Kelly there, which would be, I mean, you talk about two just massive offensive minds on that side of the ball. That would be insane. Again, just a little rumor mill out there. But I do want to address something because people are taking shots in the Discord and on Twitter about Sean Khan being a shitty owner. Listen, has he made some mistakes? And here's the thing. I was thinking about this. If you're going to be successful in business, two things. You can be successful, but if you're not successful early on, the other thing you need to have is just be filthy, flipping rich. Because if you're filthy, flipping rich, there is no mistake that you can't undo. And that's where Sean Cott is. And that's why I respect the man. The man has put a ton. My man owns half of Jacksonville. He's done a great job of building up the stadium and redoing it, all these great things. You're outside looking in, it may seem a little messy. The guy ain't got a clue how to run a football team. I'll keep it a buck with you on that. But he's a great businessman for a reason. He's got billions upon billions for a reason. And he loves Jacksonville, loves the Jags, and wants him to be successful. That's half the battle right there. Man's going to figure it out. It's just he's a GM and coach hire away, I think, from turning this bad boy around. And this could be it. You never know. Now they're Liam Cohen is in works with Sean Khan to bring in a GM. That was reported later today. A lot of Jag fans would love for Tony Baselli to come in and be part of that VP organization. I think he would do a great job of just helping facilitate and be a football-minded guy that understands the Jaguars and what the fans of Jacksonville want and need, and really be able to decipher that. Sean Khan is a guy that he can trust, and they're back in business. So, really fun to watch. Then honestly, what excited me more than anything was the Pete news. I love this. Pete Carroll and Aaron Glenn, this is a cool little story of when they started coaching and playing and whatnot. But Aaron Glenn goes to the Jets. Pete Carroll comes back on a 3-year contract with a 4-year option to the Raiders. I love this. Love that. I'm hyped for the Raiders to see what they're able to do. I love Pete Carroll. All-time favorite coach. I love his swagger. He possesses that hard knocks football style like what Saban has, but has the fun, bubbly, like cool guy personality. That's hard to do. And Pete does it. Pete does it really well. And they're obviously going to go after a quarterback, I would assume, in this draft. If I recall correctly, he was there when Russell comes in, kind of nurtured that, and obviously goes and wins the Super Bowl. Should have had two, just HB halfback. Let's not get into it. But I like this. I like this a lot. I think the Raiders have got some key pieces. You got Max Crosby there. That defense is kind of gritty. It's got a little bit of nastiness to it. You got Brock Bowers, probably with a top tight end in the NFL right now. You can go get a few more pieces, draft properly. Pete knows what he likes to do. He knows how to function. He knows how to operate. It's going to be fun. Next year is going to be an absolute blast. I think the Broncos are going to be good. They're on the up and up. The Jets, I have no clue. I think we'll see. Rodgers has got to get out of there. Be interesting to see what Robert Saleh, if he lands on his feet. I'm excited for the Bears. Wife's a big Bears fan. Excited to see what they're doing. Ben Johnson going over there, bringing his offensive line coach from the Lions, and he just brought over their wide receiver coach to be a co-offensive coordinator / wide receiver. The Lions have been completely depleted, which is crazy to think about as well, too, because it just shows you how hard it is, one, to win a championship, one, to repeat, and two, just to maintain that success. I mean, Dan Campbell, I don't know if he just went home and is just pouting and doesn't know what's going on, because my man's being sniped. He's being sniped, bro. It's weird to think, right? Let's look at it like this. The Jets, the Jags, the Bears all sucked ass last year. Lions are two wins away from a Super Bowl again, right? And everybody's like, I'm out. The three teams that I just mentioned look to see more promising going into next year than the team that was just there. That's how quick this thing just turned on its head. Like that. In a matter of 72 hours. 72 hours. I love it. Oh, here we go. Muddy says, one day Shelton's going to leave High Top for the money. He's going to join mine and Holly's podcast. What are you guys paying? What are we doing? Another name out there that, he didn't get picked up yet, but is Cliff. I don't think he'll go anywhere this year, but next year, definitely somebody to keep an eye on, to say the least. I own High Top so far as a co-founder. Fair enough. Well, let's go back up here. We'll read the comments here. Poker stream. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute since we've been rocking with the poker stream. Dallas show up. Oh, good call, K Ziegler. I didn't see a report on it, but I did see him post on his Instagram that the night that we were talking about it, he was like a day out. Like he had a countdown. But I didn't see any report on it. Which I given, just the circumstances surrounding him, you would think we would know if he did. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's something else. Let me see here. Anybody have any 411 on that? It might be today. It might be today. But I didn't see any photos. Usually we get some photos from Florida Gators football of like they're here, yay, and all that good stuff. But I haven't seen that. To be fair, I feel like my Twitter's been weird. My feed hasn't been the best. I haven't been getting my stuff. I feel like I'm out of the loop. Like if you get off the Twitter for a couple of days and you're interacting with your Florida stuff and your things that you like, it kind of starts feeding you like the basic stuff. And I kind of took just some days. I mean, work's been kind of busy, so I haven't been as active on it, and it's been detrimental for me because I feel lost, boys. I'm reading Discord trying to get caught up on things, and I'm like, what is happening? Like it is just absolute mayhem with trying to keep up with the things that are going on and all these people. So we'll see. We'll see. Look at this. Bear Mitchworth, forced offensive lineman, just posted a picture, was visiting. He tagged Rob Sale. And JD, the ball coach. So Bear McSeaworth, 4-star 2026 offensive lineman, took a picture with Napier and tagged Rob Sale, ball coach D, and Napier. Not the Coster, but again, I think there's a lot of questions with the Rob Sale situation. We'll see. Did you guys see this? Did you see where the Pittsburgh Pirates, there was this 11-year-old kid pulled a 1-of-1 Paul Skeens card, the pitcher for the Pirates, absolute phenomenal young man. I mean, the guy's a stud, played for LSU. 1-of-1 signed rookie card. I mean, this thing's if Paul just does what he did last year one more time. 3 more times. I can't put a price on it. You're talking $3, $4, $5 million card. The Pirates offered him basically 30 years worth of season tickets. The hell would I give up a couple milli for 30 years to go watch a shithole like the Pittsburgh Pirates? They ain't been good for 30 years. Won't go watch that for 30 years? You out of your damn mind? I was like, it was honestly disrespectful by the Pirates. Like that's not a serious offer. You can't sleep at night thinking that you offer because he's 11, you can get away with that. No, that's uncalled for. That they should have been. They should be a fine for that offer. Clay, we've talked about this on the show a couple of times. So Allie complained about us not getting. Allie P complained about OC was just the same old tired crap. The intel said hiring OC was part of the vote of confidence by the admin. Blah 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 blah. There was never intel. Look, we talked about that. Yes, it was conversations that happened on probably boards, and people took it because it's fun. It was exciting. It was sexy, and that became the phone game of this, and this. Now, Allie may say, "Hey, there was actually." I haven't really got true confirmation of how this was. I never felt that that seems crazy to me, because here's how I could see this working out is if the boosters talk with Strickland and co, and they go, hey, like he's got to do something offensively, and Strickland's like, yeah, we got it, we got you. Like I gotta talk to him, and they okay, cool, we'll back off the heat. Screw the $26 million buyout that we put in this little cubby. We're good. We're back on board. And then obviously nothing happens. That part I could see happening. I feel like it was reported as if Billy came out and was like, "Hey guys, I got you. I'm gonna hire an OC," and then didn't do that. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not mad about it. I'm ready to move on. But Pirates owner is an ass. Yeah, I mean that was a horrible offer. That was a disgusting offer. North Florida Bear, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. Happy Friday night. Go Gators, Clayton Young. Absolutely. Go Gators. All right, boys and girls. Well, great show. Great information. Lot covered. Lot discussed, as always. Hope you guys enjoyed the show per usual. We'll be rock and rolling tomorrow, obviously. For the Gator game against the Dogs at I think it's 4:30. My understanding is correct. So we'll go live after the fact, talk about it. I'm sure there'll be some more movement until then, but turn the bell on, subscribe. Y'all be good. Have a happy Friday night. Until next time. Peace and love, baby.